There's no better way to start your Sunday than with a quality math meme, and this is one of the better ones that I've seen recently. Link to the original post in the description. This meme does something I always love in a good math meme, which is humorously characterizing some mundane notation. In this last frame, we see P of 1 characterized as a sad boy stuck out in the rain, forgotten by his parent. So what is this meme? What does it mean? Why is it funny? Let me read it to you and explain. The upside down A character here is the logical quantifier that means for all or for every. P of 1 is just a statement about the number 1, and P of n is a statement about the number n. P of k plus 1 is a statement about the number k plus 1, and so on. So in the first frame, for every k, P of k implies P of k plus 1 says, I think I forgot something. And then for every n, P of n says, if you forgot, then it wasn't important. And then, yeah, you're right, and there P of 1 is forgotten out in the rain. Even if you're not familiar with all of the symbols in this meme, the math behind it is very easy to understand. It's a meme about a proof technique called a proof by induction. This is a technique commonly used in mathematics to prove statements about the natural numbers. So we would use the technique to prove things about 1, 2, 3, and so on to infinity. Just for example, if we add up the first 4 positive integers, we get 10, which happens to equal 4, the number of positive integers that we added up, times the next positive integer, 4 plus 1, all over 2. And this is in fact always the case. If we add up the first 100 positive integers, that's going to be 100 times 100 plus 1 all over 2. Proving that this always works is a classic first example of induction. And when you understand this proof technique, it's actually pretty straightforward to use. It consists of only 2 things. First, you must have a basis step. In the basis step, you're proving that a statement is true about the first positive integer. This is the P of 1 that we saw in the meme, the thing that was left forgotten. And the only other part of an induction proof is what's called the induction step. In the induction step, ignore this scribble, we prove that if our statement is true about an integer k, then it must also be true about the next integer, k plus 1, which is what we see in the left panels of the meme. Now, in the top right is what would be the conclusion, because it's our goal to prove that something's true for every positive integer. For every n, our statement is true for n. So this is what we want to prove. So in the meme, we see the induction step innocently hanging out with the conclusion, who's just hoping he'll be permitted to continue existing, telling the induction step, nah, if you forgot something, it must not have been important. And of course, the poor basis step has been forgotten out in the dark. And so the conclusion nefariously lives on without actually having been proven. Now, if it's not clear why this technique is actually valid, often a comparison is made with dominoes, and I think that is the best analogy. If you're here and you're hanging out, setting up some dominoes, and you want to make sure that all of the dominoes will get knocked over, what do you have to do? Well, you have to do 2 things. Firstly, you have to ensure that anytime a domino falls over, it's going to knock over the next one. That's the induction step. If the statement's true about one number, it's true about the next one. If a domino falls, so too does the next. But the other thing you have to prove is the basis step. You can't forget the basis step. None of the dominoes are going to fall if you can't even knock over the first one. So if you're setting up these dominoes, the very first domino shouldn't be atop some massive skyscraper over here. How are you going to get up there and knock the domino over? You want to put it here, right in line, easy to be knocked over. Got to make sure that works. If indeed you can knock over the first domino and each domino knocks over the next, then you've established that all of the dominoes are going to get knocked over. In other words, you've proven a claim for all positive integers. With the dominoes, it's obvious that if you can't knock over the first one, you're not going to knock over the rest of them. But mathematically, what could go wrong if we don't prove this basis step? Well, it's an interesting meme because it's joking about a mistake that really isn't frequently made. It's hard to forget the basis step of an induction proof because it's literally half of the proof. I mean, schematically, the proof has two things: basis step, induction step. Students would typically learn about induction either in an intro to proofs type of course or in a discrete mathematics course. I mean, it's all about proofs and induction. They're not going to miss half of the entire technique. However, if you do somehow completely neglect the basis step, the original poster of this meme gave a great example of what you could prove. Suppose we want to prove that for every positive integer n is equal to the subsequent positive integer n plus 1. If we're willing to skip the basis step, this can be proven very easily. Remember, in the induction step, we assume that our statement is true for some positive integer. Like with the dominoes, we assume we knock over one domino, we need to make sure that knocks over the next. We assume our statement is true for one positive integer, we need to prove that forces it to be true for the next. So if we skip straight to step 2, the induction step, we're permitted to assume that we have this positive integer k that's equal to the next positive integer, k plus 1. And now we can use this fact to prove that our statement is true for k plus 1 as well. All we have to do is add 1 to both sides of this equation. This is called the induction hypothesis, by the way, the assumption that we make in the induction step. If we add 1 to both sides of the equation, we get k plus 1 on the left is equal to k plus 2 on the right. But of course, k plus 2 is the same as k plus 1 in parentheses plus 1. In other words, we see that k plus 1 is equal to the subsequent positive integer, k plus 1 plus 1. And bam, we've proven our statement. For every positive integer n is equal to n plus 1, which means all positive integers are the same. Now, like I said, outright skipping the basis step isn't really a mistake students are likely to make. However, it is still easy to make a mistake even when you don't skip the basis step. The basis step itself can be sneakily tricky. Oftentimes, it's totally trivial. You just prove your statement for the first positive integer, and then you're good to go. But sometimes it's a little more involved, and it's easy to miss when that's the case. Let me show you an example that's really similar to what we just did, but we're actually going to do the basis step this time. However, the proof still isn't going to work. Here's what we're going to prove. Let a1, a2, a3, and so on be a sequence of numbers. We'll use an just to represent a general term from the sequence. We're going to prove that all the numbers in this sequence are equal. Now, to use induction, we have to enumerate the statements we're proving in some way. So we're going to use induction on the size of sets of numbers from this sequence. So in the basis step, we'll prove that for any set of a single number from this sequence, all numbers in the set are equal. The second statement would be that for any set of two numbers in the sequence, all two numbers are equal. The third statement would be that for any set of three numbers in this sequence, all three numbers in the set are equal. And the kth statement would be that for any set of k numbers from this sequence, all of those k numbers are equal. Now, we're no dummies, so let's begin with the basis step. In the basis step, we're considering all sets of a single number from our sequence. We could just say AI is the name of this single number chosen from our sequence. And of course, this is trivial. No matter what single number we have, there's only one number in the set, so it is trivially true that every number in the set is equal, because any number is equal to itself by the reflexive property of equality. Alright, with the basis step done, all sets of size 1 have been accounted for, we can move on to the induction step. For the induction step, we assume p of k. We assume our statement is true for some positive integer k. So we'll write out this induction hypothesis. We'll say that assume any k integers from the sequence are equal. And sorry, I called them numbers before, so let's not call them integers. It doesn't matter what they are, they're just numbers, so I'm going to call them numbers here. They could be integers or not. In the long run, we're showing that they're all equal anyways, so what does it matter? Okay, so this is the induction hypothesis. We get this for free. Any k numbers chosen from the sequence are equal. Now we have to prove this is also true for any k plus 1 numbers chosen from the sequence. So to that end, let's consider a set of k plus 1 numbers from this sequence. Now we could choose any k plus 1 numbers from the sequence. It doesn't have to be the first k plus 1 numbers from the sequence, but notationally it will be convenient if I write it that way, so please permit me this convenience. If we wanted the notation to not look like we're selecting specifically the first k plus 1 numbers from the sequence, then we could use an additional subscript and write AI1, AI2, and so on. But here are our k plus 1 numbers chosen from the sequence. How do I know that these are all equal? Easy. Just have to use my induction hypothesis. Because look at this. How many numbers are here? All of these except for the last one. Well, this is exactly k numbers, which means our induction hypothesis applies, because we already said that any k numbers chosen from the sequence have to be equal. Here are k numbers, so they must all be equal. But then how do we deal with the pesky k plus 1th number on the end? Well, let's just look at these numbers. How many are here? Now we're excluding the first one, so in total here, again, there are k numbers. So again, the induction hypothesis applies. This is a set of k numbers chosen from our sequence, so they must be equal. This completes the proof by induction. We're granted the conclusion now. For any set of numbers chosen from this sequence, all of the numbers in the set must be equal, which means that all numbers in the sequence are equal. But of course, this was just an arbitrary sequence of numbers, so the conclusion, of course, cannot possibly be true. But where have we gone wrong? The method of induction is totally valid, and we've done both steps, basis step and the induction step. Well, this makes for a great example for students learning induction, because the mistake, although it is in the basis step, if you're trying to write this proof, you might not really notice until you get to the induction. Because in the induction, it's this shifty switching of these k numbers to these k numbers, which makes it clear our basis step is lacking. For your most routine induction proofs, you do only need to prove the n equals 1 case in the basis step. But sometimes in the induction step, you end up using a little bit more than that, and such is the case here. When we do this clever little shifting of the numbers we're looking at, we're actually relying on the n equals 2 case, which you can see clearly in the case of n equals 3. The n equals 3 case is very different from n equals 1 and n equals 2. If I know that the n equals 2 case works, then when I look at n equals 3, I can say, well, hey, look, I've got 2 numbers here, which must be equal by the n equals 2 case, and I have 2 numbers here, which must be equal again by the n equals 2 case. So all 3 numbers must be equal because, crucially, there's this shared number in the middle that links them. If we didn't have a number in common, then we just have one set of equal numbers and a separate set of equal numbers that are potentially different from the first set. It's only because of this common number to both sets that we know that all of them have to be equal. So the first case that actually looks like this, the logic that we use in the induction step, is the n equals 3 case. But the n equals 3 case relies on the n equals 2 case. And the n equals 2 case is not true. So we wouldn't be able to prove it in the basis step, and it doesn't admit to this reasoning that we use in the induction step. If I have 2 numbers from a sequence, a1 and a2, I can't prove that they are equal because it's not necessary. And trying to use this shifting argument to rely on the previous basis case does not work for n equals 2, because I could say, well, look at this one number from the sequence. That has to be equal to itself. And then look at this other one number, that's equal to itself. Well, that's great, but there's nothing linking them. So that's the problem. Although we did prove the n equals 1 case because it's trivial, so we were able to prove it, in the induction step, the reasoning that we use actually relies on the n equals 2 case. So by using this argument, we unwittingly have assumed that k is greater than or equal to 2. But because in the basis step we only proved the n equals 1 case, we're only allowed to assume that k is greater than or equal to 1. And that's where the issue lies. You have to be very careful with induction and proofs in general to ensure that you don't accidentally assume something that's not granted due to the technique that you're using. At this point, though, you may be bored of my simple arguments and wishing to actually see a counterexample to disprove this statement. So, is it possible for there to be a sequence of numbers where not all of the numbers are equal? Well, yes, it is possible. For an example, we could look at this sequence: 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. 1, 1, 1, 5 sixths. I'm unstable, I'm feeling hard to keep the cable cut and unsort the table. If Texas Instruments don't reply, well, I think this time it might be fatal. Wish to sell my own fake, cause I'm jaded. Hate the odds that I calculated. Press and pull and pray and push it all the way through the whole blue planet.